said, just based on how the rest of the schedule is shaping up, there's a decent chance for one of them to come in. And speaking of which, we're getting into our first game. In the bottom left-hand corner, we have DNS for Platinum Heroes.
So right-hand corner for Starlight Twinkle, it is nice.
I forgot what it's like casting from the live feed.
I know. They don't give a damn about your intros, mate. They send it, Bobby. They send it. But yeah, what you just mentioned is very accurate here. Both Starlight Twinkle and Platinum Heroes are they can technically make it into the playoffs. They both need to win this series. I believe if Starlight Twinkle loses this series, I think they're done. I think they're just straight up out. I think Platinum Heroes, they can afford to lose the series depending on how well or how bad some of these other teams do. So yeah, things are really coming down to the wire here when it comes to these lower teams trying to vie for that seventh place spot.
Yeah, it's one of those things where if Platinum Heroes wins, they only need a little bit of luck, right? Yeah, but if they lose, then they're going to need a lot of luck. Starlight Twinkle, I mean, I guess it's a bit of a similar story with them, but no matter what happens, they're going to need more luck than Platinum Heroes here, 100%. Even if they win.
Exactly. The pressure is on Starlight Twinkle to fight back here and now. And this PvP is going to be an interesting one. This was difficult to predict, I'll be honest. I know the predictions were taking place earlier in the day, and DNS has been really impressing me. Like, DNS has been looking damn good. I think he's a really underrated player in the European scene. But he's still up against Nice in the PvP. Nice, who was forged in the flames of Haas in Taiwan. Like, he's no slash in PvP.
Yeah, and I think you'll find, as Kuro's telling us here anyway, or did show earlier on the graphic, that's pretty much how everyone feels about him right now. As, yeah, it is a 100% prediction rate, 1-1 DNS to Nice here.
There we go. I'll be honest, I was very close to doing a 2-0 for DNS. I was
Yeah, as was I. As was I, if I'm being honest. DNS, like you said, he has been that dark horse throughout the entire season. I still remember when I think he 2-0'd Ryung, something like that, or he had a very surprising result against Ryung that really forced me to change how I look at him.
Yeah, he's just been getting some really damn good results, period. I know he had a good showing against Serral, he had a good showing against Maru, like, DNS hasn't been able to, like, win these series 2-0, but, like, he always looks damn good regardless. But before that does come to pass, we do have, of course, our 2 gate openers, and DNS is coming out a little bit worse for wear. It looks like he is going to be, oh god, just barely escaping with that Stalker with his life.
Yeah, he doesn't lose it by any means here, but already a bit of a better start for Nice, to say the least.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing too crazy when it comes to the openers. Both players are going for their Nexuses. DNS has a couple of sentries on the way for those hallucinated scouts to try to get a read on what Nice is up to, as DNS is forced to rush back home. The shield battery is still a couple of seconds away from finishing, but with the defender's advantage, he should have enough.
Yeah, he's got these sentries out right now, and there's a little bit of a delay there. Forces Nice on the back foot.
Yeah, forces him back. And when it comes to the tech, no one is going for anything too crazy. There's no Stargate opener, for example. Both players are going for their Twilight Councils towards Blink, so everything's on the up and up. Outside of the little skirmish that they're having right now, where both players are trying desperately here to pick off a unit here and there, I don't think anyone has lost anything.
I doubt so as well, aside from maybe a pylon that was blocking the Nexus here for Nice. Other than that,
Take it away.
we got our sponsors. S5, that stands for Season 5. Doyu, that's the best shark coin if you got. The Hyperglyph, that's the, you already know who they are. They don't need any introduction. TGIF, that chair company that stands for Thank God I Fit This Chair, in parentheses. What are the other ones? Taidu?
Yeah.
Or Tayo? I don't remember if it's Taidu or Tayo, but headphones, I think. And then you have one more that isn't Hojo. It's the Rio. Yeah, we have it. Rio, the Alco Pop beverage that makes you want to box, according to the commercial. I don't know if that's a selling point or a deterrent, but hey.
Yaku, I need you to start a chair company called Thank God I Fit. Oh my god.
This chair, in parentheses.
I love it. It's amazing. Ay. I would 100% get a thank God I fit chair. I'm not gonna lie. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, it would fit you.
It would, right? It's in the name.
Yeah.
As we do have DNS pushing out across the map here with his army. He's expanding behind this, so he's not all in by any means. He's just, again, vying for map control, looking to outtrade his opponents. So far, the force fields are thrown down, but the blinks are good enough from both players, and once again, they do bounce off each other.
Yeah, I have to wonder what the aim here for DNS is. Obviously, you know, with his army fort, he is taking control of the map. He is making sure that Nice is going to be able to pressure his own expansions back at home, but that was a pretty aggressive maneuver there from DNS. It felt like he did want to, at the very least, take out a couple of sentries there.
Oh, yeah, exactly, and he wasn't quite able to do so in the end. But at the same time, here we go. He distracts the armor. You have a couple of depths shading into the natural base. A couple of probes are going to be going down. At the same time, he wants to try to pick off those sentries.
Yeah, and he will be able to take one of them off, or pick one of them off as he blinks away. Already a nice little trade here for DNS. He is running away with the probe advantage, the worker's advantage right now.
Yeah, he really is, and every little bit counts here, especially in a mirror matchup in a PvP. You may think, it's only, what, like 4 to 5 probes, is it a big deal? It can be enough. It can be enough to really sway a fight in your favor, because that could be the difference of, like, what, 2, 3, 4 stalkers as well, just the money to produce them. As DNS is actually going to be playing this out a little bit safer. Both players are taking up towards charge and +1, of course, but DNS is going to be mixing in a couple of immortals as well.
Yeah, I like it quite a bit, especially with how stalker heavy the start of this game has been. Obviously, there is a point of diminishing returns with immortals. You don't want to get too many of them against chargelets, as they just immediately melt to those speedy boys. But getting a couple to have a little bit of a backbone to, just having a couple as a bit of a backbone never hurts.
Yeah, and I think we're kind of seeing the roles kind of really assign themselves here in a way. We have Nice prioritizing the Prism. With that, he's going to be looking to be active on the map to reinforce. DNS, in making those immortals, is going to be taking a more defensive position instead, and will have quite a hefty defender's advantage as a result. But we'll see if he can get in position. It looks like the Prism is moving out towards the left-hand side of the map. The main army is denying the 4th base as well. DNS didn't see this coming ahead of time. He was not in position, and Nice is getting away with his own 4th.
Indeed, he is. Meanwhile, the Observer of Nice did get a full scout in the main base. Nice knows exactly where he can hit.
And that's something that DNS is lacking. He doesn't know where the army is right now. He doesn't know its position. We can see Nice going to be looking to push on forward. Does come across the main force of DNS at the same time. Prism dives into the main base, but no, we have a quick warp in, and the Prism, it just barely goes down.
Just like so. I am super impressed by DNS there, not taking Nice's bait with his main army. He stays in the back line until he's able to deal with the Warp Prism, and only now is he counterattacking, or not even fully counterattacking, just pushing Nice's army away.
Oh, and yeah, he's going to be forced to recall. He was out of position. I was wondering if he was going to commit to the counterattack or turn back around. He does opt to turn back around. And that means that even though he's going to be able to protect his 3rd, he can't protect his 4th. That's going to be another cancel on the 4th base of DNS.
Yeah, DNS may not have wanted to commit earlier. That was a kill, but he's going to have to now to make up for this base deficit.
Yeah, exactly. A kill, not a cancel, as you were saying. Nice has been able to get away with his 4th base, has been able to make up for his worker deficit that he had earlier, and now the pressure is on DNS to make something happen. Okay, we have a Zealot run by here. No mining going on at that 4th base, despite that it is up and running, and DNS is now looking to try and break through on the front lines.
Yeah, you know what? Forces a couple of warpings over there. Nice doesn't have that many chargelets here that can really push back the Stalker force. Nice is being very, very careful, though. He does not want to cede the high ground whatsoever, DNS. Hello, Probe.
what do we get? Go home, Buffy, go home. And he's going to make it. He's going to make it home. Let's go.
Well, I hope he makes it home. That Probe was on an adventure over there, but DNS, yeah, he might have a thing or two to say about that Probe.
He was given the wrong...
his territory.
Was given the wrong directions to go for the fourth base. Like he was led to the enemy fourth base instead. Thankfully, he does go home. Meanwhile, speaking of fourth bases, once again, DNS was not in position. That's another cancel on the fourth. He's just being denied time and time again. He's being starved out, being contained to these three bases for oh so long. And that advantage that he once had, the immortal advantage that he once had, is no longer there. Nice has his own.
Yeah, for a while, DNS was able to make up for his lack of bases by just denying mining from Nice, but once Nice is actually getting his fourth base saturated, we see it pretty much immediately. He is mining 1,000 more minerals than DNS at the moment.
Yeah, he really is. And DNS is going to be able to bully Nice back for the time being, but still he needs to find some more damage here. He needs to make something happen to make up for how far behind he has been economically, and that is, he's going to try and do so with DTs. Dark Cham was thrown down earlier, and I believe the first wave of DTs have been morphed in.
Yeah, I'm liking it a lot, obviously. At the very least, he's going to be able to morph a couple of Archons once they get scouted, but before then, he's going to be able to pull a little bit of sneaky on Nice.
Yeah, he's going to be worlding across the map. No cannons in position, by the way. Unfortunately, I think it's only one DT. It would have been great to have seen at least one DT in every single mineral line, but, he's still going to get damage done regardless. Meanwhile, at the same time, he does try to force his way in towards the fourth base. Shield Battery Overcharge is going to kick in with the power of the Overcharge, with the power of this Concave. I don't know if DNS can really break through.
Yeah, there was a second there where I thought DNS might have had a shot when, a lot of Nice's Stalkers weren't firing, but now that they are coming in through the front, it is looking a lot better for our red Protoss player.
Yeah, exactly. He dives on top of this army. Two Immortals in the backline doing so much damage. The DTs are getting some economic damage, don't get us wrong, but it's not going to be more. It's not going to be enough. Only 4 probes go down, and DNS is just can't really deal with this army.
Yeah, honestly, felt like a little bit of an anti-timing here from DNS. +3 is about 3/4 done right now, and he pushed in way before that.
Yeah, exactly. He just went for it. I mean, I think his goal there was to distract the army so the DTs could get damage done, but he didn't just try to distract the army. He committed. He went all the way in, and as a result, he gets punished for it, for losing the majority of his forces. The DTs were at least able to give him a little bit of time. 6 probes did go down, but... Oh, and actually, DNS, he's got a massive worker lead even. He is heavily saturating that fourth.
Yeah, and he's even taken his 5th base behind all of this, so as long as he's able to defend against Nice's counterattack, and keep in mind, he should have battery overcharge, he should have DTs, and he should have +3 when disengagement happens. There's a decent shot of DNS pulling this off.
There is a decent shot. We do have the overcharge. The Immortal goes down anyway. Nice, he does have the supply lead. He's up 20 army supply. He's down 20 worker supply as he pushes on forward. The overcharge is about to run out, and Immortal is coming in from behind.
And it is starting to punish some of the Immortals for Nice, but Nice just has such an army advantage over here. DNS, he needs to find some miracle warpins right now. He needs to find a way to just hold this position, and once he does that, he will be fine, but otherwise...
Yeah, exactly. He's still having a hard time holding that position. As you were saying, we have a warping of Zealots from both players. But alas, Nice, it looks like he barely has enough here. Again, Overcharge was already wasted, or was already used earlier. Cannon is going to remain powered, though. DNS struggling to hold on, but the numbers are just heavily in favor of Nice.
Yeah, Nice is all in at this point. And DNS, he may have a huge worker lead, he may have a bit of a bank, he may have the income, but he doesn't quite have the production on his side. He has the upgrades. I still want to say that there's a chance here for DNS to pull this off, especially with the help of battery overcharge. Nice, blinks forward and takes a couple of volleys, but he is able to take out the Immortal of DNS.
Yeah, the DPS was just too damn high. He had enough to take down and overpower the overcharge, which doesn't happen too often. Again, just goes to show how many stalkers he had available to his name as he keeps on pushing in towards the natural base. And if he breaks the natural, if he breaks the main, then that will be the end of the game. If he's able to get on top of the production, deny the production, the robo goes down as well. That means no more defensive Immortals are going to be coming out for DNS.
Yeah, a lot of DNS's Stalkers also just aren't in position to shoot. A lot of production, especially a lot of gateways, did just get depowered for Nice, so if DNS, once again, much easier said than done, but there is still a chance for him to hold on by his main base and somehow pull this off. He has the upgrade advantage, I want to point that out.
Yeah, you know what? If he can somehow snipe the Observer, And he has DTs. He has DTs across the map. If he can snipe the Observer, he can maybe win with the Invisible Man. I think that is maybe a win condition available here for DNS, but for the time being, Nice does still have his Observer alive, so that's something that he has to work towards. At least, yeah, he does.
Oh. Yeah, the big issue here. Oh. He recalls half of his forces, but not the Observer.
Well, he recalled half of his army, and he just lost his Prism. He just loses the Immortals as well. He just split up his own army going for that recall, and now he's in a lot of trouble.
He really, really is. DNS is trying to press his advantage. He is chasing down this fragmented army of Nice. Once again, DNS has the better army. He has the upgrades on his side, and now look at that supply. It's evened up.
Yeah, the supplies have evened up. I believe we're waiting here for the Observer, unless it died. Okay, there we go. The Observer does finally rock up. DT is going to be going down. It looks like Nice just wants to try to reclaim control of his own bases. Oh, but DNS is here to stop him at every turn. He goes in once again, takes down a shield battery. He looks to take down a pylon as well. He has to be careful not to get surrounded.
Yeah, as Nice still has a defender's advantage here. He still is in position to go for a flank. DNS losing quite a number of supply here on this front, but while this is going on, he is also punishing that fourth base.
Yeah, exactly. But we have shield batteries, it looks like, with the Warping of Zealots. Nice should be able to hold on to that Nexus. Meanwhile, Nice, I don't think he's actually scattered the left-hand side of the map. And here we go. He does come across the fresh mining base of his opponent, and he's looking to try and punish it.
Yeah, recalling those probes from earlier from DNS was the right move. Like you said, it's only starting to get punished now, and as a result, he was able to make use of his worker lead for a little while.
Yeah, and things are getting really close here. DNS takes a supply lead. Nice just had a really rough fight where he lost a good chunk of his Stalkers, but he's hunting down that Prism!
And he should be able to snipe it like so! 2 DTs go down as well, and once again, I still want to give the advantage to DNS, but things are looking so scrappy.
Yeah, things are really coming down to the wire here. It looks like this base on the right-hand side is going to be going down. No, never mind. He goes for the recall, and Nice is going to be respecting that. He's going to back off. He's going to try to get the hell out of here. No, oh god, he has to be careful.
That was a huge gamble for DNS, recalling only half of his army, but it did pay off. He was able to get a bit of a flank there on Nice, and now Nice is on the back foot.
Yeah, he is on the back foot, but DNS, he just lost even more workers. He's actually down in the worker count now, which means over time, Nice should be able to muster up a bit of a larger army as well. DNS is aware of that, and he's going to be threatening that base on the right-hand side. Nice has to be careful not to move out of position, as he does actually meet up with the army of his opponents, and yeah, they will once again force each other back.
Bit of a stalemate here. I'm just waiting for the first player to take the gold base. That'll break it up.
I do think that maybe someone could have been able to sneak out a ninja gold base in the midst of all that, but it is expensive, to be fair, and they don't have that much money to work with. Nice, though, he does bounce back across. I believe Nice has a higher zealot count, but a lower stalker count, and stalkers have that much more maneuverability, but there's no shield battery here at the fourth.
Yeah, maneuverability doesn't really mean much when you're backed up against a wall and you're not able to, sustain your units with a shield battery.
Yeah, exactly. Shield battery is about to finish up, though. Now we have an overcharge available here at this base. Nice has to respect that. He has to back off, and as he does, are we going to settle down? That's the question. I mean, neither player wants to. They just keep sending whatever they can at each other. Oh my god.
Whether it's Zealots... No, these poor Stalkers! They were on move command a bit too long.
Ugh. Yeah, the Stalkers, they take a lot of hits. It looks like the Zealots of Nice are doing a little bit more damage in that mineral line. Another Prism is going to be going down as well. And something that Nice has been missing this entire game is the Dark Shrine. Dark Shrine is on the way for Nice, and I don't think DNS has any detection.
Yeah, he has one Observer with his army, but even then, it's very vulnerable to go down to some of the Stalkers of Nice. We were in a bit of a pseudo-base trade there, but Nice does pull back in the end. DNS snipes that fourth base, but Nice also takes out 11 probes of DNS. So once again, we're looking at a pretty even economic scenario.
Yeah, like DNS has a lead in the base count, but he has an even worker count here. That's the problem. He can't actually make use of his bases, especially with these zealots going for that run by just again crippling the economy of DNS. Meanwhile, that Dark Shrine is about to finish up. As you did mention, there is one observer. We have a second observer on the way for DNS. Looks like he's aware that he needs detection on the map. That he needs to be, again, he needs to be able to deal with DTs if they do come out.
Yeah. Yeah, he thinks it's a distinct possibility, which, great minds think alike.
True.
So I guess he went for the DTs. Is why Nice is, had the same idea.
Yeah, and we can see both players posturing here. DNS taking a pretty hefty supply lead, but DTs are being morphed in, and we have an observer, I think, with the main army of DNS, but those bases are looking a little bit exposed. And of course, Nice can always go for the move where he dives in, and he could even try and snipe the observer of his opponent.
Yeah, not without detection of his own, though. Yeah, unfortunately, neither player was able to get enough resources to get a Robo Bay and Observer upgrade.
Yeah, no one has Observer speed. We do see Nice is being forced all the way back home, though. Again, DNS eclipsing him in army supply. At the same time, we do have a DT harassing across the map, forcing a defensive warp in. Workers are going down, but that's a lot of zealots coming in for DNS. Or trying to come in.
Yeah, once they do come in, though, that's gonna be it. DNS is losing everything on his side of the map. He is pretty much, I want to say he's pretty much all in at this point, but I feel like there were multiple times where either player looked like they were all in, but then went back to a scenario of remaking their workers.
Yeah, both players, it's just on a knife's edge right now as the armies do clash with each other once again. Oh, but DNS is losing a lot of workers across the map. He may even lose his Nexus as well. He's running out of money. He's running out of mineral patches. Likewise, though, Nice also doesn't have a fourth, so like the economic situation is pretty comparable. We can see Nice even has to long distance mine.
It's 100 minerals per second here for DNS and 200 for Nice. That's how scrappy this whole situation has gotten. That's how low econ we're in right now.
Yeah, exactly. So we're even forced to warp in back at home. Oh my god, to recall back home. The DTs finally get cleaned up. They get another 9 probes. Nice is making his way towards that mining base of his opponent. He's going to get spotted by the zealots. DNS is fully aware that his base is under threat, so he will back off. Will get in position as Nice desperately needs an expansion. He needs another base soon.
Yeah. It's a lot of probes mining from a single mineral patch. I guess I can't really blame DNS for taking a much more cautious approach. He doesn't want to do the Protoss equivalent of stimming directly into a into a battery overcharge and getting his entire army stormed. But yeah, I do feel like he could just take this. There were a couple of points where he could have just taken this game by now. That's all the Observer sniped.
Yeah, the Observers get sniped. DTs can come into play. They can be the MVPs here. I mean, maybe they've already been the MVPs this game for both players. They've done so much for themselves already, but without detection, Nice is in some trouble. On top of that, he has no mining. You can see him. He looks like he's accepting defeat in a way just because DNS, he may have just lost a Nexus on the left-hand side, but the base that he has is like fresh. He has a fresh mining base right now. He is mining, his opponent isn't.
And that's the thing. I mean, he can't even afford to build a Nexus right now. He has to make units. He can't afford much of anything.
Yeah, exactly. The DTs across the map are doing what they can, but this is the last-ditch effort here from Nice. We can see the main armies are looking to clash here on the front lines as well. He has to be careful. There is a shield battery. There is an overcharge. Oh, we do see a snipe on the Observer of DNS, actually.
Oh! Now DTs are going to go ham on everyone. Well, DNS... if they could afford to warp in DTs, I mean, looking at the Bank of Nice and the Mineral Bank of Nice and the Gas Bank of DNS, Nice, he's throwing his head back. He knows this is done. GG is called. DNS takes game number 1.
GG, well played, but that went down to the wire. That was so damn close. Whew. DNS does bring it back in the end with that 1-0 lead, but Nice. There were moments there where he had certain advantages where he could have brought it back. I'm sure that's why we saw him smudge a little bit. He like sunk and melted into his chair towards the end. I don't know if you saw.
Not even the cacao bears are gonna be able to cheer him up after that. Gonna have a quick couple of seconds here while Nice decides what map is gonna be chosen in game number 2, and I gotta tell you, like, that just felt like the epitome of EU PvP. Just with how cautious DNS was being. You know, he had the upgrade lead, he had the army lead, but he was like, no, I have to make sure that Nice doesn't pull a sneaky one on me. I know that he comes from the same land as Haas. I don't want to know what kind of tricks he has if I just tunnel vision too hard and just try to attack too early.
Yeah, exactly. Very meticulous play out of both players as well. I mean, a little bit more wild out of Nice as he was continually going for all these run-bys, all these counterattacks, trying to cripple the economy of his opponents, but DNS was able to secure the victory in the end, just barely. And now the map of choice from Nice is going to be Gresvan as a game number 2.
I'm honestly very surprised that we're going to be getting into what is considered to be the largest, most standard map in the current map pool. I guess altitude is larger, but still, Gresvan lends itself a lot more to macro play, a lot more to defensive play and taking bases. I thought that after game number 1, we'd be seeing a bit more, we would see something a bit more wild coming out here in game number 2. I would be surprised if Nice decides to get into another situation like that where, you know, they're both in a scenario where they have to rely a lot on a meticulous play. And here we have it on Gresvan in the top left-hand corner of the maps, representing Platinum Heroes, we have Do Not Surrender.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner for Starlight Twinkle, it is Nice. And I hear what you're saying. You know, you're talking about how this map, it does favor more defensive play. You can go into a longer macro game on Gresvan. We've even seen that with PvPs recently as well. Last night in WTL, we had a banger of a series between Cyan and Maxed, where Cyan beat Maxed. It was crazy. It was long. It was late game. It was intense. It was beautiful. But
Max Pax.
No, Cyan, he beat Max.
Yeah. So Max said.
Oh, sorry, my bad. Max, yeah. But another really common thing on this map, and we'll see if we do get it, is proxies. There are a lot of proxy locations on Gresvan as well. The amount of times that I've seen proxy robo on this map is more often than not, actually. So we'll see what the players go for. For the time being, we have 2 gate openers, and the pro pathing isn't too wild here, so it may just be a standard game that you were talking about.
Yeah. Wait, no, I mean, yeah. This does not disappoint me in the slightest.
You're like, where's my Korean PvP? Where's my proxy? Where's my proxy Stargate versus proxy Robo, you know? What happened to the good old days of just proxying each other? Aye.
I'll tell you what happened. Page just went to the military.
True.
He took the entire Y-axis of Protoss with him.
Yeah, Patience, he went to the military. You know, Zest, he went to the military as well. Feels bad, man. Feels bad. Not like this.
Well, no matter how we're feeling, we can't be feeling any worse than Nice right now. Looking at his webcam.
He looks so defeated after that last game. Not good. Yeah. He's. Stay with us, Bappy. Stay. You're a good player. You can bring it back, Bappy. It's okay. It's okay, Nice. It's gonna be okay. Someone needs to give him. We need to call up Haas. We need to call him up. Go give him a hug.
Better yet, tell one of his waifus to give him a hug.
True.
As DNS, surprisingly, is going to be the first player to go for a fort pylon.
Yes, this is crazy. Okay, so Nice is going for a standard Twilight Council timing here. Twilight Council open to go into Blink, maybe even DTs, but most likely Blink. There we go, Blink is on the way. Meanwhile, DNS goes for a 3rd gateway across the map. That is a proxy 4th gateway. I believe he's 4 gating Nice here with mass vanilla gateway units. DNS is looking to bring on that aggression that you were talking about.
Yeah, Nice, meanwhile, thinking around similar Thinking in similar terms, he is also going for a little bit of a 4 pylon, but the difference is he's most likely just going to be 3 gating here as he gets Blink much, much earlier.
Exactly. Blink is on the horizon. DNS should be hitting first. We already have one Stalker going down for DNS, though, so not a good start for DNS, a good start for Nice, as he does shave off some of those units, but this proxy location is going to be made use of first, faster. DNS is going to be coming in with a mass amount of Stalkers, and Nice still doesn't have Blink.
Yeah, not yet. There is a pretty wide window of opportunity here for DNS to just overwhelm Nice. But that window is slowly closing up. Nice being very aggressive, even without Blink. Great target firing coming out from him. DNS was not expecting this forward defense coming out from Nice.
Yeah,
but also it's helping him out.
It is. The Stalker counts are pretty comparable with each other so far. I love the split target firing as well. It looks like Nice is barely going to be able to hold on, but we have another wave of reinforcements coming in, and DNS is trying to snowball.
Yeah, trying to, and he may have just about done it, even with the defense's advantage, even with Blink finishing up here right now for Nice. He just cannot contend with the sheer production here. Oh, but hang on. He has the high ground.
He does have the high ground, Anakin, but we have... Oh, we don't want to underestimate his power, as a couple more Stalkers do come in to reinforce. The pylon is going to be going down. The sentry falls, and as you were saying, Nice straight up just has less production. He can just straight up warp in less units than his opponents because of the all-in from DNS. Blink does come into play, though.
Blink is definitely coming into play. I like this addition of the one Zealot just to soak up a couple of volleys, but Nice. He's going to need some miracle hands right now. He's going to need the micro to micro his heart out to be able to hold this. A couple of probes do get pulled. As a reminder, both players are only on one base, so Nice can't really afford to lose too many of his probes.
Yeah, both players are going for different variations of one base all in as the Stalkers are pushing themselves up this ramp. One of those Stalkers is so close to going down. Solid Blink does avoid that shot just barely, but the Stalker. Oh. It went down.
It finally went down in the end. Nice is microing as best he can, but unfortunately you cannot blink a Stalker while it is in transit. Nice throws his head back once again. This game was definitely very, very close, but in the end, I think he knows that he is going to have to tap out. He just cannot contend with the sheer numbers here of DNS, even if his Stalkers are a little bit better. GG is called. DNS will be taking that series 2-0. And gonna be making fools out of all of us, predicting that 1-1.
I was so close for the 2-0 for DNS, mate. I was really contemplating on it. That was the one matchup that I was stumped on, and I went for the 1-1 in the end. But maybe I should have had more faith. To be fair, game 1 was really close. It was really close between those two players.
It really, really was. A lot closer than I think a lot of people were expecting. I mean, yeah, again, I just feel like there were multiple times where DNS could have closed it out, but Nice somehow was able to bring it back with some very key defenses there. Well, a part of that also did come down to just arguably DNS being a little bit overly cautious. Regardless, that was one hell of a series here, and this is one hell of a lead for Platinum Heroes.
Yeah, a very important lead as well. We were talking about it. Platinum Heroes, they need to take this win here to secure their spot into the playoffs. And we'll see if they can pull it off, because next up is going to be a bit of a different matchup. It's going to be a PvZ between Goblin and Cham. And this is an interesting one, because I'm pretty sure Goblin is slated as the ace player of Platinum Heroes, but I don't know, in my mind it's DNS. I think DNS has really proven himself over the course of this season of WTL. Goblin versus Cham, I think that's going to be a bit of a close one. It's going to be a little bit harder to call.
Yeah, instinctively, I just got to recoil whenever anybody suggests that the ace player of Platinum Heroes isn't Migs.
True.
But I think you might be right. There. You know, Goblin has historically been a player with a lot of great results. He has been a lot more consistent, I think, over the past couple of years than players like DNS, like ShaDoWn, like, as much as it hurts me to say it, like even Migs. But as you said, I do think that a lot of the other players from Platinum Heroes have been pulling their weight. They have been punching above their weight quite a bit as well. So Yeah, well, I definitely still think that Goblin is a fantastic player. I absolutely love his creativity when it comes to coming up with builds. I do think that Cham probably has a really good shot here of taking out Goblin, of turning things around for his team for SLT and taking that 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, he needs to. The pressure is on Cham here to fight back and get the 2-0. After this, the other player that Starlight Twinkle have is ReWhite, and ReWhite is more of an up-and-comer. He's going to be coming in as the underdog, and as we need to make sure, or Cham needs to make sure that there's as little pressure on his shoulders as possible so he's not too stressed out, as ReWhite will be getting into another PvP later on down the line. So we'll see if Cham can fight back here for his team. Game 1 going to be taking place on Neo Humanity.
Oh, it's a Zerg map.
In PvZ, I don't know if I want to really say that, especially with Goblin's like Roddy or Rotterdam tendencies. This is not a bad map to just turtle on up and head towards Skytoss. Just saying.
Yeah. Well, he's gonna try at the very least. Of course, bring up some of our predictions here, and this one was a lot more varied when it came to our community. Majority of players did predict that 1-1. I think that's where I went.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, 20% of our participants voted for the 2-0 for Goblin, 20% for the 2-0 for Cham, and a simple majority at 60% voting for the 1-1.
Yeah, I think this was another one for me where I think I settled on the 1-1, but I was very tempted to 2-0 for Cham. I was very tempted.
I don't remember where I ended up going. Like, I think that was pretty much similar. I was like, Cham, he's el campeón. He is the ace player for Starlight Twinkle now. He is the pride of Mexico. Sorry, Special, but you're repping Korea now. Cham is the pride of Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I don't remember what I ended up predicting in the end here. I think it's going to be very close. Either way, even if it is going to be a 2-0, I think the games themselves are going to come down to the wire.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, I imagine so. As I quickly just double check, and yeah, I went for the 1-1, and as I scroll up a little bit further, I believe you also went for, I don't know, as we do get into the game in the top left-hand corner for the Platinum Heroes and the land of Croatia, it is Goblin.
Roddy's eldest, if you want to call him that. And over here in the bottom right-hand corner map, representing SLT, we have El Campeón, Cham.
Checking, you also went for the 1-1.
I wussed out. I went neutral in the end.
And oh boy, we'll see how this does turn out. Again, this map is one of the more unique maps in the map pool, has a lot of varying features, does favor certain play styles as well, as Cham is going for a hatch pool gas opener. Interesting. Yeah, so this map is, of course, the smallest map in the map pool, shortest rush distance as well. But despite how small this map is, there are a lot of choke points at the 3rd base location, at the 4th base location, at the 5th base location as well. So because of that, we have seen a lot of late game scenarios here on Neo Humanity.
Yeah, I think a lot of that is specifically in PvZ, which, that's the matchup that we have right now. But yeah, it's definitely a very varied map here, Neo Humanity is. I feel like the player generally to take the initiative will be the Zerg.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest, I wouldn't be as surprised if Cham does go for something like a 3-base roach all in. I'm talking about like a 6/6 drone. We cap it off at 3-base saturation, just make nothing but lings and roaches and try to power through the 3rd. Queen pushes can be quite popular on this map as well. When you knock down those rocks in the center of the map, you can just waddle on across it. It doesn't take too long to get to the 3rd base of the Protoss either. So they're definitely aggressive options. Something that's interesting though is that the base that Cham is taking is anything but aggressive. He's going for the linear 3rd.
Oh, that is not something you typically see a Zerg player go for. Especially not in ZVP. I feel like every time I see a Zerg player go for that linear 3rd on Neo Humanity, it's for ZVT.
True, true. Yeah, typically against a Terran. So because this base location, that means that we're not going to have like a launch pad going across the map with all that creep. We're not taking the center base. We're not taking the Vespasian Gas Geyser. So this is looking like more of a passive opener, which is weird to say because Cham is typically an aggressive player. So I wonder if he's just trying to feed his opponent, you know, a little bit of false information and still commit anyway later on, or if he is looking for a more standardized game.
Yeah, would not be surprised if that's how Cham decides to go here. Obviously, like you said, he has a bit of a reputation of being kind of a more aggressive player, and this could be a little bit of a throw off. Or no, that's not the phrase I'm looking for. Whatever you said earlier on, where he's trying to throw Goblin off. But we'll see if that actually works. As some players are pointing out in the chat here, Cham. It feels like ever since he popped off in IEM Katowice, a lot of eyes have been thrown his way, and I wouldn't be too surprised if Goblin or even Rotterdam was looking at some of Cham's replays, and they were coming up with some kind of strategies.
Yeah, I mean, here on this channel, we've always been big fans of Cham. He's been El Champion for a long time, the champion of Batalla de las Americas, even Battle of the Americas. And yeah, it's been really cool to see him gain a lot more international kind of notoriety and recognition as well from a lot of these international players. It's been really great to see him grow as a player and evolve. But we'll see what he does here against Goblin as the first two Oracles make it across the map. Of course, they can one-shot Workers. The Spores in position, the Queens as well, but that will not stop damage from being done. But the Oracle, it ever extends.
And one of them will go down. A little bit of a painful loss here in the early game. Sure, 3 drones went down, but I don't think that's anywhere near worth it, especially since Goblin isn't remaking that Oracle.
Yeah, big loss for Goblin. He thankfully did make a 3rd Oracle, so he still has that one-shot potential, but again, already a big blow here to his map control, to his aggressive potential as well. As once again, he dives on in, he's going to get another 3 drones. This time, he takes a little bit more care of his Oracles. He's able to preserve them, as Cham is just saturating his bases, taking a 4th and working towards his lair. And
with those extra 3 drones going down, the Oracle has been avenged. Maybe, potentially. I don't know.
Yeah, 6 drones to 1 Oracle, it's better. It's definitely better. I want to say like 7 is the ideal number, but 6 is not too bad. It's not too bad whatsoever.
I like 6.
Yeah, there you go.
It's half of 12.
It is. It's a nice round number.
Even number. As a couple of Adepts do sneak in as well. They do have that one-shot potential. 1 pot Adepts. That sounds tasty.
Oh my
god. I'm hungry.
Stay with me, Poppy. Stay with me. What I do love, though, is that Goblin, you mentioned it earlier, he actually did remake the Oracle. After he lost his first Oracle, he has now remade it. So I really appreciate it. It's not something that all Protoss players do, but it's something that players like Hero, Classic does it as well, just because they recognize the power behind an Oracle and how much utility it has for the Protoss army. So great to see Goblin replace it after he did lose it, and he's taking up quite heavily. We have a Templar Archives on the way. We have +1 Blink, 4th base as well. Goblin is kind of preserving his Warpins here, taking up quite heavily and working towards a bit of a later timing.
Yeah, especially on a map like Neo-Humanity, I do think that having that extra 3rd Oracle is absolutely essential. We can look at the production tab right now of Cham, and we see he's not taking this lying down. That's a whole bunch of roaches that are in the mix. That's roach speed about to finish up as well. Cham may not have went for the aggressive 3rd base location, but he is still looking to do Cham things. It is absolutely essential right now for Goblin to recognize this and to put those Oracles and potentially those Storms as well to get use.
Yeah, he's going for that 3-base all-in style that we were talking about. He's run up to 71, and now he's making nothing but Lings, Roaches, and Ravagers. He is not droning, he's not teching, he's not working towards a hive. He's looking to max out and push out across the map, and it looks like Goblin may have recognized that. We have a lot of shield batteries in production. Is Storm, I believe Storm is going to be ready in time for this, but it's going to be all about the positioning, the overcharge, and whether the stack defense is, again, in position in time for this push.
Yeah, and right now, Goblin has a couple more seconds to allow all of these defenses to finish warping in. Cham turns around?
Yeah, it looks like he wants to wait a little bit longer here. The Oracles, they do find a Queen. Banelings are being morphed in again. Cham just needs to wait a little bit longer for all this to finish morphing. The Oracles haven't come across the army yet, so Goblin doesn't really know what's going on, but he also sees the lack of army, and with that revelation, he now knows what's happening.
Yeah, he should know what's coming his way, and he is immediately repositioning his army to deal with this threat. I like this as well. He's recognized that, hey, it's actually the roaches I have to worry about, so I'm gonna warp or morph my High Templar into Archons, even though Storm did finish up. That is a brutal blink backwards for Goblin, exposing all of his Archons like that.
Yeah, they were exposed, but a massive station track goes off as well on those Banelings. They will not connect. They will not find their way in. That was a massive attack from Cham, and he traded with the army. He didn't get any economic damage.
Yeah, when it's all said and done, he picked off a couple of Stalkers, and he picked off one Archon. It didn't even get any probe kills over here. I think only one Baneling was able to sneak into the mineral line.
Yeah, this is dangerous because Cham was pretty committed with that. We can see now he's droning and he's teching up. You know, we have an Infestation Bit on the way, we have a Hydrogen on the way, but this all could have been thrown down much earlier. You know, Cham is actually at a worker deficit here compared to Goblin. So after that defense, Goblin is in a really good position.
Yeah, teching up earlier on was a huge risk, but it has absolutely paid off right now. He is just running away with the tech.
Yeah, but the Banelings, they roll into the mineral line as well. The entire mineral line will go down. 17, 18 workers do fall. We have a storm, but the Banelings, they do find some connections anyway. And here, the second wave catches Goblin off guard.
Yeah, a little bit of an awkward positioning there with the Stalkers. Fortunately, it didn't have much room to maneuver back to, or to kite back to. So even though the storms were killing the Banelings, they were still within range of the Baneling explosion. Base will go down. Cham is pretty much trading his entire army here. Can he remax quick enough to deal with his counterattack is going to be the question.
Yeah, and I mean, that was well worth it for Cham. He takes down the base, takes down, what was that, 18 workers, trades with the army, and because he traded, you can see Goblin doesn't have the supply to counterattack. He doesn't have a large enough army. He's stuck at home, and Cham is given time to rebuild, to remax, and to get into lunkers.
Uh-oh.
Oh. Let's go, Poppy. Let's go. There's a reason why Ash is not here, Poppy. And here we go. The Lunkers are on the way. Hive as well for Vipers, for, of course, Adaptive Talents, for Sizing Spines, for the Lurker upgrades. And yeah, Cham is going to be able to capitalize on his lead with this tech. And Goblin, for the time being, is still stuck at home.
Yeah, he does need to turtle up quite a bit here, make use of the choke points once again that he did in the initial attack, or the initial defense against Cham.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And from this position, I would say that I would tell you if Hero were playing, he would have, after losing his base, or after losing his base, he'd throw down a Stargate and a Fleet Beacon.
Yeah.
I do think that that's kind of the avenue you have to go for here and just be hyper defensive. But Goblin, he's going for a more active style instead. He does rebuild his ground army. He's trying to be a little bit active here. I believe he hasn't seen the Lurkers yet. He doesn't know what kind of tech Cham is necessarily working with.
Yeah, if he did, I 100% think he would have thrown down that Fleet Beacon and turtle up. But because of that, he is just still maneuvering around with his ground forces. Actually, I think he might have caught wind of some of the spines. He did send the Zealot out to scout earlier on, but I'm not sure if he was paying attention. I guess he was, as that Fleet Beacon and that Stargate does get thrown down. He knows that Cham is looking to he knows that Cham isn't looking to be too aggressive, at least not before Hive and all of his upgrades finish up. So this gives Goblin a little bit of time to work on his own army.
Yeah, this is where I have to worry a little bit, though, because that Stargate and Fleet Beacon, that is delayed. That is late here. It's a reaction that we were talking about how, like, you know, maybe it would have been, or we would have expected it to be thrown down sooner, and it took a little bit too long for Goblin to realize what was going on because the Lurkers are now done, and Cham is pushing in.
And he's pushing in with Lurkers.
Oh. A couple of storms.
He's about to finish his upgrades.
He is about to finish those upgrades. The Lurkers are looking to lay siege upon the natural waste. We have cannons, we have storms, so at the same time we do have a Zealot Rumba, but no Lurkers were even kept back at home.
That's the power of the Lurker, man. Storms are just barely tickling these roaches. They're doing a pretty good job against the Hydras, though.
Yeah, they really are. The Hydras, without Hydra speed, because we did cut that corner, they're having a hard time getting out of those storms in time. And even though Cham has kind of wedged his way in between these bases, he's not doing any damage. He's actually not getting into those mineral lines. He's not really threatening the bases themselves.
Yeah, meanwhile, back at home, the defense has been somewhat negligent. You know, he is focusing he is rallying all of his units across the map. And yeah, once these Zealots went past the initial couple of lurkers, they didn't really have to fear for anything. Now the Tempests are out, and there's no easy solution to them, even if the Hydras get on top of them.
Yeah, we got a full surround on every single one of these lurkers. Cham loses his entire army that he's been working towards just like that in one fell swoop. Goblin just eliminates everything that Cham had, and what do we have at home to defend? We have a handful of lurkers left. Cham is in a lot of trouble.
That surround is gonna play in my dreams over and over and over again. It's like, that's why I should switch to Protoss. That's how you deal with the lunkers, and now there's nothing stopping Goblin. He kept most, if not all, of his high-tech units alive. He, of course, still has those Tempests in the back line to try to deal with these lurkers. The big issue here, though, is detection. He only has oracles and Oracle Revelation to deal with them for the time being. Oh, getting a bit of a pause here.
Oh, yeah, it looks like Goblin has a little bit of latency issues, so we're going to have to try and sort that out. But as you were saying, again, just Cham, he just stuck around a little bit too long. Like, after he forced his way in between the bases, after a while, he should have recognized, I'm not really gaining any ground here. I'm not really accomplishing anything. I need to leave because I don't want to expose myself. We did stick around a little bit too long, and Goblin took full advantage of that. We do see Goblin bleeding out a couple of units here towards the end, but again, Cham just doesn't have too much to work with. His economy's in shambles because of the Zealot run by earlier that dealt almost 20 worker kills. So any kind of economic advantage that Cham once had isn't there anymore. And yeah, now Cham is limping along, and Goblin, he's got Skytoss. He's just got a more efficient army.
Yeah, he's just got to wait until he maxes out, and then he'll have hit critical mass. There's nothing that Cham can really do to stop Tempests and Carriers. He doesn't have the economy to get a critical mass of Hydras. He doesn't have the economy to get a Spore Forest. Well, he can maybe do one or the other, but not both. And at this point, you kind of need both.
Exactly. We can see Cham, he's investing all of his resources into more lurkers right now because he needs to, because the Skytoss army is a problem, but there's also a Ground Toss army as well that poses a more immediate issue because we're still working on more carriers and still working on more Tempests. Cham just needs to somehow buy more time, and how can he do that? Run buys are typically the way to go for that, but on Near Humanity, it's so difficult to pull off these run buys, so difficult to try to catch the Protoss player undefended.
Yeah, we saw Cham go for, I think, 3 run buys earlier on, and only one succeeded, and that was partially because he also had the main army backing up that run by. In fact, now that I think about it, it wasn't really much of a run by.
Yeah, it was just a main force or main push there from Cham, and we can see the wall of cannons, the wall of shield batteries behind this. Goblin is solid here on his 4 bases, I should say 5 bases, soon to be 6 bases, as the 6th is going to be taken. And yeah, Goblin is just securing himself here as he pushes on forward onto creep, looking to lay siege upon the bases of Cham.
Yeah, nothing is holding him back. There are 2 Spore Crawlers. And that's going to be about it here, really. A couple of Lunkers forced to retreat because of these Tempests. There are 3 Vipers, but we'll see what they can really pull off. There are 5 Vipers, actually.
Oh, it's crazy.
But that's also a lot of feedback potential.
Yeah, he also didn't have too many Hydras there either. I do think that Goblin could have poked away at that army a little bit with those Tempests, but he's going to be taking this a little bit safer. He rotates back around instead. I do think that Goblin probably doesn't know how far ahead he is right now, so he's taking this slow and steady. So he is giving Cham an opportunity to make some Corruptors as we speak, but all the feedbacks
are absolutely huge. Only 1 yoink, only 2 yoinks, only 3 yoinks, actually. Well, that's... After all of those feedbacks, I'm surprised those Vipers still had energy in them to get 3 yoinks out, but in the end, it's still a better trade for Goblin.
Yeah, Goblin does a trade a little bit more efficiently. He does lose a couple of Tempests, but again, he can afford to do so, as it looks like we do have latency becoming a big issue here for Goblin. That could be coming to why that fight was a little bit awkward.
Yeah, are they playing on the... I would imagine they're playing on NA server, right?
I'd imagine that...
in, Mexico.
Yeah. He is in the land of Mexico. I imagine they're gonna be playing on NA East. But I do know sometimes like routing can be an issue, especially depending on like where in Europe you live. Like sometimes it can just take you in a really weird place, and cause some latency.
Yeah, we do know that there's been a lot of issues for players from EU connecting to the Asia server specifically. But yeah, I'm hoping that's not also going to become an issue with the NA server. Something about how it's all routed from Europe.
For sure. I hope so, as well. As we are just going to be diving back into this, we can see the supplies are starting to even up. Again, Goblin has been able to trade more efficiently. He has more mining. He has more bases. But Cham is just clawing his way back into this. We have Corruptors on the way. Not the most upgraded Corruptors, but Corruptors nonetheless. Also, Goblin's going to be helping him out. We can have the -400, -400.
Yeah, good on Goblin there to be a little sporting or charitable.
Oh. Speaking of being charitable, he just killed one of his own stalkers. Smooch.
Oh, no, he needed clear. He wanted to be charitable, he'd kill one of his High Templar.
Oh. As you're just about to say, Goblin does want to refine his army, so he should be getting rid of some of these stalkers, should be getting rid of some of these zealots as well, as he does perfect his force and go into that death bowl of an army. Oh my god, he's even looking to take some of these southern bases as well, bases that would typically be under control of the Zerg.
And if he fights from this position, he's going to have battery overcharge to back him up. Oh, man.
That is a brutal base to take, and again, even though Cham is about to max out, his army still does lack a lot of that complexity. I do think that he has a lot of supply in lurkers at the moment, and they are spreading out quite thin, and that is eating into his Corruptors and the rest of his army, and we'll see how this all does come to pass. There is a world, I think, where if Goblin overextends, I do think that Goblin can take a fight. I do think that Cham can take a fight if Goblin overextends, but we'll see how this all comes together.
Yeah. Oh, that one lone infestor feels bad, man.
Yeah, Fester goes down. Hydras as well. Very efficient trades here from Goblin. We can see Cham trying to transition into Broodlords as a Greater Spire is on the way, and Goblin may just give him that time.
You gotta feel for Goblin a little bit, you know? He sent these Stalkers and Zealots out so he could trade, so he could lose them and clear up some supply. Instead, he kills Cham's units and he doesn't lose them at all. It's like, why did he even send them out, you know? Why bother?
They're like, Papi, aren't you proud? We did good, right? And he's like, why don't you just die? Oh, feels bad, man. Hashtag relatable. As the Tempests are using that position that you were talking about, they do have the support of the cannons, the shield batteries, the overcharge, and they are within range of the mining bases of Cham. This is a brutal position, but a position possible just because of how much map control Goblin had to be able to take this space uncontested.
Yeah, Cham's now trying to contest a couple of bases off Goblin, apply a little bit of pressure to have him pull back, but Goblin ain't falling for the bait. He knows that everything hinges on winning this engagement, or potentially hinges on winning this engagement.
Yeah, we can see, no! An Infestor's going to be going down as well. Cham, he's trying to look for an opportunity, he's trying to look for a way to pounce on this, but the reality is that these Tempests are going, they can do whatever they want from this position, and it's going to be difficult to try and punish that. He's trying to.
Emphasis on the try. These Infestors are going to have to do a lot if they're going to turn this around. They haven't been revealed.
Oof.
Cham has been able to dodge most of them, but oh man, I guess he doesn't need detection here if Cham's just going to be uprooting them or unburrowing them to get feedbacked.
Yeah, exactly. The feedbacks will connect, and Cham is being starved out as we speak. He tried to expand towards the top right, but he's going to be denied again because he just doesn't really have the most mobile army to try to keep up with that. More units, more buildings going down here towards the bottom left. Cham is going to be forced into one big fight, one final showdown.
Yeah, one that I fear he shouldn't be able to win. I mean, stranger things have happened before. Yeah, we did see in our last series, you know, DNS pulling ahead and winning fights he had no right to win.
True. True, you're not wrong. Looks like Cham may decide to go for a bit of a base trade. Like, a lot of his supply is actually moving out towards the center of the map, completely avoiding the SC2 army at the moment. But there is a recall available, bear that in mind. So Goblin can always teleport back towards the center base as the lurkers are trying to lay siege upon them, but a big storm is going to connect.
Yes, like so. Recall, of course, is always available for Goblin, but he just proves that he doesn't really need it. He had so much sag defense there that there was no way he was going to pull his main SC2 army back. There was no reason for him to pull his main army, SC2 army back to deal with it.
Yeah, exactly. Now Cham is going to try and go for a double expand here. If he's able to get these bases up and running, then he can keep on going in this game. He can look to fight back. Stalkers are moving out. They take control of the Zonaga. They are out of position, and now Cham is looking to take control of the center of the map.
Unfortunately, he doesn't have a lot to kill here, not with those Corruptors anyway. Lurkers will burrow, and they are starting to deal a lot of damage to the bases, but Goblin, he doesn't even care.
Yeah, he takes down two of those defensive lurkers. The lurkers of Cham are left exposed. By the way, the SC2 army is going to be coming in, and Cham has to be very careful. We can't afford to lose too much.
These units just want to die. Or rather, Goblin just wants these units to die, but they're actually putting in a lot of work here. They actually ended up still being valuable, taking out one hatchery and potentially another.
Yeah, hatchery goes down 11 workers as well. We just see Cham trying to maybe find an opportunity to pick off the mothership, maybe a carrier with those abducts. He's looking for a way in, but we do see Goblin has eyes on him. Observer has been spotted, does go down.
Yeah, and all of a sudden these lurkers are going to be even more valuable. For a while, anyway.
Yeah, that they are, as Cham is still trying to reposition his army. Again, he's looking for the opportune moment. There is a chance, oh my god. There's a chance that he can try to fight the army and catch it out of position, but Goblin, he is leapfrogging forward here with the side defense, with the wall of cannons and shield batteries. Aye, aye, aye.
Oh my.
That's a big fungal.
Yeah, just about every single High Templar did get caught, and they will go down to the lurkers. Another pretty good fungal, but unfortunately for Cham, recall was already enacted.
The Tempests are exposed, but we have a second recall. Wow, and a massive stasis trap as well on those infestors. The first recall actually recalled the mothership, and the mothership recalled the rest of the SC2 units that were in the top right-hand corner of the map as well. So Goblin was able to evacuate with everything.
You don't see that too often, but yeah, that is a clever little trick you can pull off if you have good enough mothership micro.
Yeah, if it wasn't for that mothership recall, I do think that Goblin would have lost all of his Tempest and his carriers as well. Like, that was a really risky maneuver that he went for, but he wasn't punished for it. Finally, though, Cham is going to be able to take down one of those bases. Oh, we even have a Nexus here for the overcharge. Oh my, that's dirty.
Because why the hell not? I'm going to be so sad if no fights occur in that position.
I don't like this, Poppy, don't like this. Another infestor is going to be going down. Cham looking for a fight. Gets feedbacked in the face. Looking for a fungal, though. He does catch a couple of those High Templar. There's not too much of a follow-up, though, unfortunately. The lurkers are in the back line.
Yeah, Cham surprisingly pulls ahead here with a supermaxed army. Of course, he is hurting a lot when it comes to the worker count, but at this point, it doesn't really matter too much. There's that fight we were talking about. No damage on these cannons whatsoever.
Cham now sees the wall of Protoss, the wall of Smoge, and I can feel the Smoge from here, Papi. Yeah. Oh god. But again, he can still take a fight. Like, bearing in mind that the skirmish is happening here on the right-hand side of the map. There's no shield batteries, there's no cannons. Like, there's potential here, but once again, the feedbacks are solid from a Goblin.
Yeah, honestly, there's quite a bit of potential here. There's a lot of Corruptors, there's a lot of Infestors that have plenty of energy on them. One good Fungal and Parabomb combo will put an end to the SC2 army. And even though Goblin's very, very rich, it's going to take a long time for him to rebuild it.
And here we go. The Fungals will connect with the army. The Corruptors are diving on in as well. We have the -400 on the carrier, on the mothership as well. Cham is trading better here.
That was a brilliant trade coming down here for Cham, but we'll see if that's going to be enough. Somebody just left Goblin's room.
Oh god, yeah, we'll see if it's going to be enough as the lurkers are pushing on forward, zoning away the ground army here of his opponent. The Lings are able to flood on in. Unfortunately, Cham just doesn't have enough on the ground to really press this advantage. Even though he did fight better, it wasn't enough to really snowball out of control as the Zealot Run-By is getting so much damage done across the map. Oh god.
And that's a lot of Archons that these Corruptors just fly directly into. A lot of them taking those volleys of splash damage. Cham just shook his head. He knows the writing's on the wall.
I think he just lost his... I could be mistaken. I think he lost his Vipers with that. Like when he ran over the Archons, I think the Vipers did just die. Without Vipers, he can't close the distance. We can see these Archons wreaking havoc here. Every single Infestor is going to be going down. We only have 2 Infestors left. Good fungal here on some of the ground army. And again, Cham, he's going to be able to clean this up for the most part. Can he keep pushing? Ooh. He needs to get into the production.
Maybe. There are definitely a lot of cannons he has to worry about, but we'll see if he can get on top of the Nexus, if he can get on top of the Stargates with his Corruptors. I mean, he can camp the production and even just caustic spray them down if need be. That's exactly what he's doing.
Yeah, that's what he's going for. Now he's running out of money. He can only make links to defend. No detection, so the Lurkers are doing a lot of damage. We are transitioning into ground toss, though. We have a massive warping of Stalkers.
Is absolutely huge. If you can get these Lurkers on top of that Robo facility. But I forgot about the Oracle still. As did Goblin. Cham got a potential for Mutalis.
True. We do have the potential for Mutas here. And we have seen quite a lot of Mutas recently. I say we've seen a lot of Mutas. We've seen Dark actually play a lot of Mutas against Protoss recently. Time and time again on large maps like Altitude, on Gressvan, on Ancient Cistern. Is making them work like no other, and there's going to be the opportunity here for Cham to maybe try and do that as well.
Yeah, we'll see. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. We do see something a little bit different here. Obviously, jumping from Neo-Humanity to Altitude is quite a leap to make. Neo-Humanity was the shortest map, with the smallest map in the current map pool with the shortest rush distance. And yet somehow we still got a late game Skytoss versus Skyzerg game out of it. Altitude, the widest, largest map with the longest rush distance. If we're following this pattern, I think the game's gonna end in like 7 minutes with a Roach all in.
Oh, that's some solid copium, mate. That's Let's go, Poppy. Let's go. We'll see. So because this map is so large, I mean, we have seen Skytoss on this before, but it is less defensible than Neo-Humanity. We were talking about the advantages of Neo-Humanity, and because there's so many choke points, because there are so many narrow pathways, that's why Skytoss is so common on Neo-Humanity. Same with like Mech, for example, these like split map TVZ scenarios. Altitude has a lot of bases, but they're a little bit more spread out, they're a little bit more vulnerable, they're a little bit more exposed.
And looking to take advantage of that, over in the top right-hand corner, our blue Protoss player from Planet Miros is Goblin.
In the bottom left-hand corner from Mexico for Starlight Twinkle, it is Cham.
I just realized something, Goblin, we typically think of him as being the eldest child of Rotterdam, or at least I do. But he is a Goblin, so Apoptosis. You want to bring us in on the lore here, the family tree?
Are you trying to say that
educate us?
That Goblin is the spawn of Apoptosis and Roddy? Is that what you're saying?
Until I'm proven wrong, that's what I'm going with.
Hey.
Either that, or he was just named in honor of Apoptosis.
True. There's definitely some lore there. There's definitely a story that needs to be told, and
Apoptosis saved Rotterdam's life.
In D&D. There you go.
In D&D, yes. And as such, Rotterdam's firstborn belongs to Apop.
It is how it is written. Yeah, that's just how it works. Makes sense. I actually haven't seen Apop in a while. I feel like, I could be wrong, I feel like he doesn't stream as often as he used to. I feel like I used to see him a lot more frequently.
Yeah, I mean, he still streams semi-regularly, but I don't... I think he used to stream daily, but now it's more like, a weekly kind of thing.
Yeah, it's also possible that like maybe he just switched his time zones of when he streams. Maybe he's just streaming when I'm asleep, which is very possible.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say he just switched to Kick or some platforms.
No, I've seen him on Twitch. I've seen him playing D&D on Twitch. But my sleep schedule has been absolutely ruined after Home Story Cup, so that may be a bit of a factor as we are getting into this game. And Goblin, once again, going for a Stargate opener.
Yeah, nice and safe, especially on a big, wide open map like Altitude. Should be seeing that Oracle opening coming in from him once again, and honestly, I don't think the pressure is on Goblin here to switch things up. Obviously, his opening wasn't quite as crisp as he would have liked it to be on Neo Humanity, but that was more of a control issue than anything else, as opposed to a strategic or being outplayed or outthunk of. My words are failing me. Outsmarted issue. There we go.
An outthunk. Yeah.
Outthunk. Yeah.
He got out. He was about to be outlunked, Papi. It almost happened.
He was almost. To join the outlunked club.
True. As we are getting,
I think basically everybody is in right now.
Even Zerg players in ZVZ, they experience the lunkers, and it's not pretty. But yeah, we'll see how this does turn around. As you were saying, Goblin initially was going for a more heavy ground toss composition, being very tech heavy as well, being quite greedy at the start of game one, and he for the most part got away with it. Cham was having a hard time really punishing him until eventually he broke the fourth base, if you remember. Like, that game did start with Cham having quite a hefty lead. It all did turn on its head when Cham committed to his lurker push, and he got surrounded, if you recall, where he lost all of his lurkers, and suddenly all the momentum, all the map control went in favor of Goblin.
I do recall.
Yeah.
I do recall very fondly.
Oh. You're like, I'm gonna clip that. I'm
gonna switch to Protoss now.
yeah. You're gonna win games, Papi. It's gonna be crazy.
I can actually beat Zerg.
As we do have the Oracles joining forces here in the middle of the map with them. As you can imagine, they can one-shot workers. Spore is not thrown down here at the third base, and we're going to be punishing it quite heavily here.
Oh, already 6 drones go down, and this is some much tighter control coming down from Goblin. You could see for a second he was about to pull away. He was about to do a safe thing and pull back. Doesn't want to make the same mistake as the last game, but then he saw an opportunity, and with that, he makes it out with 8 drones and both of his Oracles alive. This was a much better opening for Goblin compared to Neo Humanity.
100%. And with that better opening, he's able to establish his third base. He's able to be a little bit more active on the map with his initial units, his Stalkers and his Oracles. And Cham is going to be on the back foot. He's going to be taking up a little bit further. He's got plus on melee on the way, which is what we expect to see against Blink Stalkers. We have a Bailey Nest as well as a Lair. Lair is at a pretty reasonable time at the 5-minute mark, so nothing too crazy as the depth shade in, and even more drones are going down.
Yeah, there's one Ling doing its damnedest to try to hold this back, but target firing is on point. Goblin takes out another 7 drones, 8 drones, 9 drones. These are just lucky numbers everywhere.
This is game-ending damage, I'm gonna say. That was a really late reaction from Cham. I don't know what he was looking at. I don't know if there was like another skirmish going on and he was trying to chase down the army. No Spore in the main either. More workers are falling. This is too much. This is actually just too much.
And I'm gonna agree with you there. This is game-ending damage. This is too much. Cham, he got a very early Lair. He was cutting every single corner here, including not getting Spores to get Lair and a quicker +2 melee. But it is just going to come down to bite him. Thankfully, thanks to Rain here for pointing out the absolutely absurd trade disparity, resource loss disparity between our two players.
Yeah, 23 drones. The Oracles will survive just for a depths. Like, this is an immaculate start for Goblin, and after what just happened, I'm sure Cham is going to be pressured to go all in. I'm curious to see if he's going to keep on droning from here. It looks like he will. He's working towards a Ling Hydra army, a Ling main Hydra army, which does take a while to really get going.
A long while to really get going here. He does have a lot of Lings, and he is working on +2 as well as Hydra range. But at the same time, Goblin is just looking to wreck Cham's face, and Blink finished up, I'm pretty sure, and +1's going to finish up as well. There are no Banelings here to speak of. These Stalkers can do a lot.
Yeah, Lings Shade, they try to go first round, but the Oracles, they stop this round. They bully the Lings back. This base is going to be denied. That's a cancel on the fourth. Cham being contained to only 3 bases. More drones are falling, drones that we cannot afford to lose. And Cham is just having a really hard time. He's stumbling his way into the mid-game here, into this Hydra army back at home. We have the answer to Lingbane Hydra. The answer is splash damage.
Indeed, especially in the form of storms.
Storm is on the way, and once that kicks in, I mean, that's going to be the nail in the coffin here for Cham. The Oracles, they dive in once again. Still no spores, by the way. Still no stack defenses. 8 more drones go down.
And Cham rebuilt his drones earlier on. He had a choice to go all in or to rebuild his drones, and he thought, well, surely that's going to be the end of the harass, right? Surely I'm not going to lose any more workers.
Yeah, it's so difficult to make the decision to throw down the spore, by the way, because like at a certain point it's like I've already lost 20 workers, like screw it, you know, let's what more can I lose? And he loses another 8 workers on top of that, and
This is why I think Zerg should have mules.
True. If only, Poppy, if only. As Cham is trying to consolidate his army, it looks like he has cut workers here at 57. I think it looks like he is just going to make nothing but army at this point. One and done. One move to end it all here. And maybe he can contest against the army of his opponent. Cham does have a bit of a supply lead. So if the stars align, even if Goblin fights with half his army initially, Cham, he can maybe snowball out of control.
Yeah, that's going to be the hope here. Pretty shortly, though, we can see Cham already getting ready. He's posturing. He wants to make a final stand and hopefully tie this up 1-1. But if not, he's looking to make a final stand regardless. Yeah.
I mean, he has made his decision. He hasn't made a worker in quite some time at this point. He is going for a super maxed army instead. I think that's a wise choice. I think that is maybe his only road to victory here. I think droning at this point, it's a lost cause. He's already so far behind. It's not going to work out for him. So here we go. He's going to try and dive on top of this army. Safe Trap is going to be going off on a lot of these things. The Archons do push on forward as well, just shutting down the Lingbane.
Yeah, Hydra's trying their best to get on top of them. They do have Groove Spine, so they can't punish that. Meanwhile, another force of Hydras will force a cancel on this 5th base. But it shouldn't be able to get much more damage beyond that.
Yeah, a massive storm does connect on those Hydras, though, as we do see Goblin is trying to split up his army. Lings are looking to reinforce, though. We can see Cham gaining a bit of ground on the right-hand side. Over on the left, not so much. On the left-hand side, he's just being pushed back. He may be able to pick off some of these Archons. 2 Archons will go down, which is nice, and he does break the 3rd.
Oh, yeah. Cham being pretty conservative with his Banelings. I always appreciate that. You want to save them for Zealots and potentially High Templar if you can target them.
Exactly. Can he get on top of those High Templar? By the way, he does see them. He wants them. Looks like the Storms are going to be zoning away some of those things. But again, Cham is all in. He has to push in here and now. He has to end the game with what he has.
And he might just be able to. Storms are about to run out. Cham is trying to come in. The High Templar are so exposed. There was only 1 Storm remaining. And that is going to be it for the High Templar. Archon gets sniped before it can even finish morphing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Cham, he already did more than we thought with this push. He killed all the High Templar, he killed all the Archons, he killed the 3rd base. He's trying to force his way up the ramp into the natural, but his reinforcements are being held up back at home, and he has run out of steam.
Yeah, if not for these handful of Zealots keeping Cham back at home, I 100% think he would be able to keep this going. But alas, like you said, the supply was caught back at home, and it is very, very hard pushing up that natural base ramp, even with your full army.
Yeah, and I mean, props to Cham. He almost did it. He almost pulled it off. I think we were both like counting him out, and hey, he definitely made a Goblin work for that defense, but he was still able to defend in the end. Base is going to be denied here on the right-hand side, so Goblin's still stuck on 3 bases. Cham is still not droning, by the way. He's still making nothing but Lings and Hydras.
I mean, he has to, right, at this point? Taking out a base is nice, but when you're this far behind, it's nowhere near enough to decide, yeah, I'll head back and start droning again.
Yeah, exactly. As he tests the waters, he gets an eye on the fourth base. He sees the army as well. That's a lot of high tempo. That's a lot of storms. Cham, it looks like he's sending the majority of his army over towards the left-hand side. He's going to try and once again pull apart Goblin.
Yeah, that kind of is the big thing going for Cham right now. He has a much more mobile army. If he calculates this right, he should be able to distract most of the army of Goblin, take out a base, and then consolidate with his forces not long after.
And here we go. He's trying to set up a surround, but we have stations trapped on the left-hand side. Storms as well, going to be blanketing those Banelings as well. We do have the surround coming in, but I don't know if there are enough Hydras.
Yeah, surround is coming in, but unfortunately it's the bread's not going to be thick enough for this sandwich. The Protoss filling is starting to spill out very, very much so in the favor of Goblin over there. I kind of get the rationale of Cham, right? It seems like he was hoping that he could cut corners there with his spores, go up to +2 as quickly as possible, and then potentially go for a big Hydraling Bane push, but yeah, Goblin played it safe on altitude, did open up his oracles, and as a result, Cham just didn't have anything to really deal with them. It seemed like a huge gamble there that just unfortunately didn't quite pay off for him.
Yeah, I mean,
he didn't quite pay off. Didn't pay off at all.
Yeah, I mean, Cham, he had queens, of course, and the goal there was that he would be able to rotate and keep up with the oracles, but the adepts as well helped just distract the queens and distract the lings and create these openings, and yeah, Goblin, he just pulled apart the defenses of Cham. But we have one series left. We have another PvP. It's going to be ShaDoWn going up against ReWhite.
Indeed, we do. Little bit of a lopsided match if the stats are anything to go off of, but hey, it is a PvP and anything can really happen here.
Anything can happen. As you're saying, ReWhite is more of an up-and-comer. He's more of a semi-pro in the scene. He has been able to get some decent results here and there, especially in the lead-up to the WTL. But compared to other players like Nice or Cham and all these other big hitters, even on Starlight Twinkle, he is a bit of more of a lesser name. So yeah, it is going to be an uphill battle here for ReWhite.
Indeed it will be, but again, I say embrace the chaos of PvP, and ReWhite may just have a good shot there. I say that, but ShaDoWn himself has been known to do a lot of more unorthodox builds in not just this matchup, but in just about every matchup other than PvT. Side tangent, I also really like the pictures that I use over here, but here we go. Jumping into Aggressive Fan, we're in the top left-hand corner, representing Platinum Heroes. We have ShaDoWn.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner for Starlight Twinkle, it is ReWhite.
I also love the contrast, you know, in our players' portraits there, as well as the angles.
There's someone in...
ReWhite is...
What is that? Is that the monitor?
That's his monitor, yeah. He's looking at his monitor, and it's censored. What is he looking at? That has to be censored.
Don't worry about it, Papi. Don't worry about it. I'm loving this angle on the portrait of ReWhite there. I love it. The gamer shot. You love to see it. Also, I was about to say that, shot. There you go. Don't fret when it comes to the play here on Aggressive Fan. The last time we were here was the previous PvP between Nice and DNS, where both players one base all in each other. Remember, DNS went for the 4-gate Vanilla Stalker all in, 4-gate all in, and Nice was going for a 3-gate Blink all in instead. Again, aggression is very favored here on Aggressive Fan. Proxy play all ins. I hope we get to see that again here as well.
You just want to eat.
I would love to eat. Eating is good.
I don't blame you. Yeah.
What are you gonna eat, Yaku? What are you gonna eat?
I don't know. I'm tempted to just get Macca's.
Oh, let's go! But wait, if you got Macca's, what kind of Mac is it? What kind of Mac?
Probably like a quarter pounder.
Is that hot?
Yeah, hot. Well, no, by the time it gets here, it might be cold.
I meant the temperature outside. Like, is it a hot day? Is it a cold day?
Oh, it's a very hot day today. It rained yesterday, so it's even hotter and more humid today.
Oh, humid. Yeah. What about, how you feeling about like getting some Oreo inside you?
Oh,
an Oreo McFlurry.
I would love to get some Oreo inside me.
Yeah.
But I think they have like a promotional McFlurry.
Oh. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, it depends on what kind it is.
You can try it.
I could
order it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I would love to order Macca's, but it's too late here. It's almost 2 a.m. and they don't deliver at that time.
Feels. I remember when that happened here as well during COVID. When McDonald's announced we are going to have to shut down all of our services for a month.
What?
There were riots everywhere.
What?
People were trying to sell McNuggets at a huge markup.
Wait,
McNuggets and like McDonald's sauces.
Why did they cancel their what? Why did they stop servicing for a month?
I don't know. They were like, oh, we need to. I don't remember the rationale. They were just like, oh, we need to clean up and sanitize our outlets and stuff
for a month
or something.
It takes a month to clean
for a whole
their
month.
outlets.
Yeah, and there are a lot of McDonald's here.
Yeah, well, yeah, you don't do them one at a time. You do them all at once. You have the people for that.
No, not here. Gotta do it one by one, you know.
And you don't open up any of them until they're all done. There you go.
Exactly.
Shaking my head.
There were riots, and then eventually they came back, but they were like, okay, so instead of delivery 24 hours, we're gonna have to actually stop our deliveries at 1 a.m. There were riots again. And now we're almost back to normal, and they don't deliver between like 3 to 5 a.m.
Animals,
man. But every other hour they do.
That's prime Macca's hour, mate. What do you mean 3 a.m. Macca's? It hits different.
It does.
It's better.
That's when you want the Macca's and the Oreo in you.
Yeah, exactly.
That's when Oreo calls to you.
That's when your willpower is at its weakest.
It actually is.
As we're getting into this PvP, so far nothing too crazy. It was 2 gate openers all around into a third base. No 1 base all-ins, unfortunately. As of course I do thrive in that chaos of PvP, and both players are playing pretty damn standard.
Yeah, huge divergent or a huge change of pace here compared to the previous PvP that we had on Gressvan.
Yeah, exactly. Go on.
No, I was just gonna say, I guess the pressure would pretty much be off here, especially for a ReWhite here. So, yeah, I guess I am a little bit surprised that we're seeing something a bit more standard, but you know, I can't imagine these two play against each other that much. Maybe they are just trying to get a sense of what each other's playstyle is like.
Yeah, they're just getting a bit of a taste of what they have to offer, and with that taste, both players are going for Blink. We got +1 on the way as well. There's a bit of a lead for ReWhite. He has quite a timing where he will have +1 and his opponent will not. We'll see if he makes use of that, as we are going to be taking up a little bit further as well. ReWhite heading towards those charge lots, so staying on a very heavy gateway army composition. Meanwhile, ShaDoWn going to be a lot more reliant on pure Blink Stalker for the time being.
Yeah, World is a bit more of his oyster right now. That's a lot of gateways on the way, however, and does typically indicate wanting to go for more of a gateway-focused army. I may not be good at math, but I know that more gateways equals more gateway units.
True. That does kind of lead one into the other, as ShaDoWn is looking to push out on the map. He's taking 4th base behind this. I believe he doesn't have a way to reinforce, though. I believe there isn't a proxy pylon or a warp gate, or a warp prism either. But regardless, he's going to be kind of dancing in between the bases, looking for a way and looking for a bit of a vulnerability of his opponent. ReWhite continuing to hallucinate these Void Rays.
I was gonna say, oh, you know, the Void Ray was made by mistake, but he's actually gonna make it useful, but he continues to make them. Yeah. Meanwhile, ShaDoWn hallucinates a Warp Prism to try to get ReWhite's army out of position. This is the battle of the big brains. We're just... both players are just trying to out-thunk each other.
Yeah, it's weird, though, because ShaDoWn goes for the like, fake hallucination prism, but his army's at home. Like, he's not... like, he's not creating an opening with it. He's just sending it in just cause. He's just
reminding ReWhite, yo, I could at any point in time in this game just send a warp prism across the map right into your base and warp in from it. I'm not gonna, and I'm not doing that right now, but I could.
It's one of those things where if he does it enough, by the time a real prism comes in, ReWhite, he's just going to think it's fake, and he's not going to respond.
Yeah. He's going to be the wolf.
Of Wall Street?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty sure that was a moral of that movie, right?
There goes. The army's not going to be clashing here. ReWhite pushing through the center of the map. Meanwhile, Dark Shrine has finished up for ShaDoWn. No DTs have been morphed in yet, but they are going to be available for him if he so chooses. There is an observer with the main army of ReWhite. He has a bit of a better army as well. These Archons, they do pose a massive threat to the charge lots of ShaDoWn.
They really, really do. ReWhite, you know, he was working on getting a much more sophisticated army compared to ReWhite, who was focusing entirely on production earlier and production and economy. Yeah, and as a result, ReWhite's punishing this.
Yeah, ReWhite, he's going to try to force himself up this ramp, but no, we have an overcharge, we have cannons, we have shield batteries, we have so much here. We have the concave as well, and ReWhite is going to lose everything trying to push up this ramp.
I don't want to say that was a throw, but yeah, this was looking pretty even for a while until ReWhite kind of tried to force the issue there. GG, ShaDoWn takes game number 1 and has just increased Platinum's Heroes' chances of making it to playoffs by another 150%, something like that.
You're just saying numbers, Fappy.
I'm saying all the numbers I know. 12.
There you go. At least 12%. At least. Maybe. Beautiful.
Potentially.
As yeah, ReWhite, he did kind of, I don't know, it looked like maybe impatience out of ReWhite, like forcing himself up that ramp. It felt definitely ill-advised, especially considering that he was pushing up a ramp into a concave into an overcharge as well. Usually you respect that, you back off and you go for a bit of a later push. But yeah, ReWhite, there was definitely a sense of urgency in him. I don't know what sparked that urgency, don't know where that came from, but it was there. And yeah, ReWhite, he just wanted to end the game then and there, one way or another. I
think the bloodlust took over him. That's pretty much what it looked like over there. Maybe he recognized that, hey, you know, ShaDoWn has been on 4 bases for quite a while. I have stuck on 3 bases. I've decided to stick on 3 bases. I need to do some damage right now, and so that's why he pushed into that. But I do have to agree with you, Light. It does feel like ReWhite felt more pressured than he actually was at that point.
Yeah, and did lead into that overextension, did lead into the end of that game, and now we're going to be diving into game número 2. Number 2, the map of choice is from ReWhite, and it's going to be on Ancient Sister.
Indeed it is. This was ReWhite's choice, of course. And yeah, again, I'm mostly keeping my eyes on him. He is kind of the underdog in this particular matchup, so I have to imagine if he picked this map, and he picked this map quite quickly, he has something planned for it, and he has something a little bit special in mind.
Oh, a Juanito build.
Yeah, he could go proxy tank. As over here in the top right-hand corner, represent Platinum Heroes, we have ShaDoWn.
And in the bottom left-hand corner for Starlight Twinkle, we have ReWhite.
God. Do normal casters feel this way when they're limited to only announcing the name and the team?
Right, it's crazy. It's wild.
And they're only saying in the top right once. What? They're only saying the position they spawn in from what? How do you people do this?
How do you know that, like, what if you stumbled your words? What if you said the wrong thing? You need to say it twice to really confirm for yourself and for everyone listening, you know? Like, you need to...
It's like password confirmation, you know?
Yeah. It's what Santa does. He checks the list twice.
He doesn't just say, oh yes, once. Or no, he doesn't just say, ah yes, you have been naughty, and just decided right then and there. No. He looks at it, he gives you a second chance, you know?
Yeah. Well, you think you're better than Santa?
Huh? You ain't better than Santa. Not even Krampus is better than Santa.
Goddamn WTO
Easter Bunny
observers.
might be a little bit more.
Shaking my head, Rain. As a kidding. It's 2 a.m. It's 2 a.m. It's getting late. We haven't eaten today. You know, we hungry. We're getting there. It's like
The 2 a.m. Macca's mania, you know? It's creeping up.
True. As we're getting into this so far, 2 gate openers all around, nothing too crazy. We do have a Stalker Sentry opener from ReWhite. It's a very from ReWhite. It's a very safe opener from our Starlight Twinkle Protoss. Meanwhile, ShaDoWn is going to be going a little bit more aggressive here with the Stalker Adept opener instead.
Yeah, a lot more safe. Oh, well, I say a lot more safe, but realistically, this just gives him a bit more flexibility. He can, of course, go across the map with his Adept to get some scouting, maybe even get some probe damage early on.
Yeah, is going to be looking for that probe damage at the same time natural bases are being taken, and we'll see if ShaDoWn is going to be able to get across the map unscouted, as the Adept has been able to bypass quite a bit of scouting. We do see ReWhite just setting up back at home. Hallucination is moving out to make sure he gets an eye on the tech itself, whether we have a delayed base, whether we have a Stargate opener, or even a Twilight Council, even a Dark Shrine. He's looking for it.
I'm gonna be honest, I zoned out for a second, and when I heard you say Dark Shrine, I was like, this early? Yeah, that is definitely a possibility here for either of our players, especially a possibility for ReWhite, as he does set up a little bit of a fort pylon. He sends the probe back home to deal. I say to deal with these stalkers, but no. That's not why he sent the probe back home. He sent the probe back home because he is content.
He is, as yeah, we're just gonna be chilling here for the time being. Both players just scouting each other, getting eyes on each other. Natural bases are being taken. Everything's looking quite normal. ReWhite does have a proxy pylon out on the map, and we can see a couple of Adepts being shaded, or being warped in, I should say, looking to shade into the main base. We'll see if he can. We'll see if he's able to pull apart the attention here of ShaDoWn and get some damage.
Yeah, that's what he's definitely hoping for. I appreciate this from ReWhite. He actually fans his stalkers out right in front of his natural base. Gives himself a lot of giving himself a lot of vision there on the minimap.
Yeah, it looks really, it's really aesthetically pleasing on the minimap. Meanwhile, the Adepts do shade into the main base. ShaDoWn was not able to wall up in time, and we do see 1-2 probes going down. A little bit of a misclick as well. I believe he did send one volley off on a Stalker by accident, but had 2 probes and a scout. It's not bad.
Yeah, especially since he is able to get the full scout on ShaDoWn. He knows that the robo facility is on the way, and it's coming in much quicker. As ShaDoWn, he's not going for a third base. ReWhite, he has got to make a decision right now. Either I send all of my units to defend my third, or I give up on it and I retreat back to natural, because ShaDoWn wants to punish that as quick as he can.
He's pushing on up this ramp, and it looks like he should be able to get that sentry, gets a Stalker as well, so overall a better trade here for ShaDoWn. Blink coming in clutch for him as well, as he does outtrade his opponent. He rotates around, he does get eyes on the third base, he's fully aware of that at least, and even picks up another Stalker.
Because why the hell not? Map control is in his hands right now. He is able to just kind of punish ReWhite here.
Yeah. Overall, just better trades from ShaDoWn behind this. He is getting his own third base. We have a Forge for +1 as well. So he's not too far behind when it comes to the economy of his opponent, and his army is still that much larger. Just because of these little trades here and there, he does have the Stalker advantage, and he wants to try to flex that. He's pushing in again.
Yeah, even a couple of probes being forced to be pulled on top of these Stalkers, and they will immediately go down. ShaDoWn, despite taking a later third base, now takes a worker lead and will just about even things up when it comes to the economy. Great blinking backwards here from ShaDoWn. He has to be much more careful now. His Stalkers did take quite a bit of hull damage, but he is still finding bits of damage here and there. He is still trading much more efficiently than ReWhite.
Yeah, he got 7 probes, and he still maintains the Stalker lead as well. He's rotating around, he's looking for another way in. Of course, the Observer of ShaDoWn does tell him exactly where the main army of ReWhite is back at home. We're working towards +1. We are transitioning into charge. ShaDoWn just taking these advantages, but it looks like, oh, he will lose that Observer as ReWhite does snipe it.
Like so. Fortunately, he has not sniped the... Well, it looks like a War Prism, but I will have to... No, actually, those are just Stalkers. My eyes may have been playing tricks on me.
Exactly, the Stalkers, they do move in again. ShaDoWn trying to test the defenses, trying to test the multitasking of ReWhite, but ReWhite has been able to keep up. He has been able to defend for the most part, just unfortunately taking some more economic losses here and there. And with this map control, we can see 4th base on the way for both players once again at around the same time.
Yeah, I'm honestly a little bit surprised that ShaDoWn, doesn't try to keep the pressure up, doesn't try to get a Warpism or anything like that, but again, he is taking a page off of DNS's book. By the looks of things, he is playing this out a little bit more cautious. He doesn't want to press ReWhite too much, because if he does, he might just poke the bear too hard.
Yeah, he doesn't want to poke the bear. He doesn't want to throw away any kind of lead. He wants to play this out safe and secure. And now he's going to be rotating around towards that fourth base. The observer of ReWhite does see everything, by the way. He is able to reposition in time as well. He has the high ground. He has the defender's advantage. ShaDoWn's got to be careful. He has to respect this.
Yep, blinks away. Whoa. I always find it amusing when you blink away after your opponent's stalkers have fired their volley.
Able to avoid those shots. Once again, going to be pushing on forward. It looks like he wants to get that sentry once again, and he will get the sentry. He has an overwhelming stalker force as well. The shield battery, the overcharge isn't ready.
Yeah, he doesn't quite know what's up this ramp, so he is playing it safe, but now that he does, there's nothing stopping him from just blinking on forward.
Yeah, and every single stalker is going to be going down. The shield battery is going to finish up in a couple of seconds, but by the time it does finish, it is too little too late. ReWhite plummeting in the army supply, plummeting in his stalkers.
Yeah, surprisingly taking a lead in the work account. ShaDoWn did bleed out just enough stalkers that he couldn't quite keep that up, but now he can. Oh boy, now he can. All this without a warp prism, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. As we just focus down stalker after stalker. The overcharge doing what it can, but we have reached critical mass of stalkers. We can one-shot units here, so the overcharge does nothing. At the same time, there was Zealots in the natural. GG gets called, and ShaDoWn will take the series 2-0, pulling off the clean sweep here in favor of Platinum Heroes.
And now I know why ReWhite's monitor was censored. Because that was not safe for work. That was a brutal game number 2 coming on here. You can see ReWhite doing everything he could to try to just deal with the sheer aggression coming his way, but in the end, ShaDoWn just flexes control way too hard.
Yeah, exactly. Was just so dominant there in game number 2. Game 1 was a little more back and forth. Game 1, of course, we were talking about it, led it into ReWhite just overextending, and it's just aping up a ramp, unfortunately. Yeah. But game 2, it was, of course, ShaDoWn looking so damn good. GG, well played. Congratulations to Platinum Heroes as they take the series 6-0. My condolences to Starlight Twinkle. I believe they are out of the playoffs. I believe they will not have a chance to make it into that playoff bracket, not anymore. They are, but they still have a match next week. Still have a match.
They do. They definitely do. Their chances to make it to the playoffs may have decreased by about 225%. But there is still a shot there for them. The shot for them to make it through is higher than 0. Meanwhile, Platinum Heroes, though, their chances to make it to playoffs just shot up by like 1,356.9%. This was an absolute clean sweep like this. Man, that just pretty much secures it.
That's big, mate. That is big. And with that, we're going to be done here for today. We're going to be done for now, but we have another broadcast tomorrow. In less than 24 hours, we're going to be live with day number 3 of World Team League of round 10. We're going to be casting Onside Gaming versus Team Abydos. Oh, that's going to be a banger of a matchup. So many big names, so many big teams going to be facing off, followed by Berserker Esports versus Dragon Kai Z Gaming as well. So yeah, make sure you tune in for the end of round 10 of WTL. But before that, we have even more StarCraft. We're going to be live in 8 hours. We're going to be live in 8 hours with the Tenacious Turtle Tussle. Our own tournaments are coming back. We put them on hiatus because of Home Story Cup and because of ESL Masters summer. So we haven't had our chance at actually hosting our events, but it will be returning here in 8 hours. So be sure to be here for some more StarCraft.
And indeed we are. And oh boy, already some players eager to get into that. Based on the rumblings over at !Discord in the chat if you want to go join that.
There you go. There you go. Exclamation mark Discord if you, or even in that socials command, it is there if you're interested. So be sure to join in on all the fun. If you're wondering what the hell is Tenacious Turtle Tussle, well, it is a regional bi-weekly tournament open to North Americans, Latin Americans, players from Oceania, players from Asia as well, not including South Korea, not including Europe. So more of a region-locked bi-weekly event to support some of these smaller regions. So if you're interested in tuning in and supporting that event, then check us out over on Patreon, as our Patreon does fund our tournaments, or at least it helps. It definitely helps because, as you can see somewhere on the screen, we do spend quite a bit monthly on our events, and Patreon, the goal at least is to help cover all of those costs. And hopefully, once we do reach that goal, we can grow it so we can have a bigger prize pool. We can maybe pay out some more players, like top 4 instead of just top 2, and so on. So yeah, that's our goal here on Patreon. That's our goal.
Math.
There you go. Meanwhile, if you want to tune in to some Yakuzaku action, to some crab raves, then where can they find you? Yeah,
you can find me in the future. As I'm probably not going to stream until August, but when I do, it's going to be over at twitch.tv/Yakuzaku1. Whenever I go live on that, I'll probably also announce it over at twitter.com/EmporiaYakuzaku. Trying to think if there's anything else out there, but no, there isn't. I did not join that whatchamacallit, Facebook, Twitter. So
there you go. There you go. So you can check him out there. Otherwise, you can follow me at @_VIP. I do stream whenever I can, but during the weekends, I have no time to stream because we are casting constantly. I also just realized that tomorrow is not just, or in 8 hours, it's Tenacious Turtle Tussle. And then a couple of hours after that, once we wrap up with that cast, there is the KSL as well. KSL was rescheduled to Sunday instead of Saturday because of the Africa Champions Cup qualifiers. I'm still undecided if I want to cast it. I could go for like a replay cast another day and just go to sleep, but we'll see. We'll see how we feel. See.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, with that, thank you so much everyone for watching. Thanks so much for your support as well. Yaku, do you have anything you want to say before we head off for the night?
Quack.
With that, thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.
Bye.